We got a call coming in here from Germany.
Ooh.
Michael from Germany is calling in to Truth Wanted. Michael, what's going on?
Nothing new.
Well, I'm just hosting a show, but besides that, I guess nothing's going on. How can we help you, Michael?
Yes, I don't understand what theists are objecting to something from nothing. So it's not like we observed that that's impossible. So the question is, what is the logical impossibility? And I haven't heard really anything except it doesn't make any sense. But that's not a demonstration of it's some impossibility. That's a personal incredulity.
Yeah, how they typically frame it is, well, we've never observed something come from nothing, which in itself is kind of like a meaningless sentence unless you really define those terms. And like physicists, when they talk about nothing, it isn't always the same thing as when a layman talks about nothing. And you get into kind of an argument of semantics there. But the point is, like, I don't even have to demonstrate that something is coming from nothing in order to not believe in the claim that everything came from God. That's ultimately what they have to prove. They try to formalize that a bit more into a first cause, but really they're just talking about God. And even then, the first cause argument philosophically just has some weird problems with it. And at the end of the day, it isn't an argument based on evidence. It is an argument based on these, predetermined logical syllogisms that may or may not hold up to philosophical scrutiny. So I have a lot of problems with that argument. And it's not convincing to me either. Puck, have any thoughts on it?
A little bit. And I think where they're coming from with the idea that we can't prove that we can't get something from nothing is that we've never really had nothing to be able to figure out anything about. Like, we can take all the air out of a space, but there's still something there. You can still pass radio waves to, there's still something. We've never had actual nothing that we can figure out what the properties of nothing really are. So you could say it's incredulity, but that's what it comes down to. We just plain don't know what nothing is capable of.
Yep.
That's as far as I've been able to get with that. And just with so many apologetics, a lot of it seems to come down to semantics and word games, where they try to oversimplify something by trying to create some, sometimes it's a false equivalency. That's when you get people saying that, well, atheists have faith too, right?
Right.
And then this something from nothing is another one of those things too, where it seems logical. If you have nothing, how do you get something out of it? Well, we don't know because we've never actually been able to get to the state where there is nothing. Well, I don't know if nothing is ever possible to have in this universe, honestly.
Yeah. A lot of weird things with it. And also, if you look at, depending on your interpretation of Christianity, if you have like a literal interpretation of the Bible, then there wasn't just nothing. There was God. God, and existing in universe. That doesn't say he existed outside of space and time. That's not a thing. It doesn't seem to be a concept that the Jewish people were really too worried about. But it's something that they talk about now because, well, we know about these things with space and time, but now we have to work backwards with the cosmological framework that we understand as, a modern people's. But yeah, it's problematic, it's bad, and it's not convincing. So at the end of the day, I don't really care about it. Any other thoughts on it, Michael?
If they claim that we never observed nothing or that something comes from nothing, why would they claim that it's impossible?
Yeah, that's true, because it's one of those things where it doesn't mean it's not necessarily impossible, I guess. But yeah, it's just
Okay, so
anywhere.
So here's something you get to do when you have a captive audience in an insular society. You get to tell them whatever other people believe, and they have no way of checking that. So when you're addressing your base and you say something like, well, these people over here think that something came from nothing, right? You can make that idea sound as stupid as you want to, and there's nothing your audience can do about it. And that's how a lot of people get sucked into the idea. They don't have any meaningful way of doing any research, and they don't have a way of talking back and asking more questions about this. I'm not saying that's every case, but that's one reason why a lot of apologetics become convincing, because they don't have a sparring partner that's firing back at them. They just hear what they're being taught.
That was me. I didn't know what the Big Bang was. I thought it was a literal explosion happened, and then that came from nothing, and now we're here, because that's how it was framed to me. And I was a kid, and I didn't understand the complicated physics and observations that came into the conclusions that we now understand as the theory that is the Big Bang, right? Like that came after years of observational work. It didn't just come from somebody just assuming things about the world. Like, I mean, obviously there's some assumptions that have to be made when you're doing that kind of science, but not to the level like of the average person. People who are like researching this stuff as careers are coming to this conclusion. So yeah, it's nonsense. I don't care for it. And I appreciate you calling it out, Michael. So thanks for calling. And thanks for making it short and sweet as well. Pretty simple. I like it.